we can say that micro sustainability advocacy. That's one of the most underrated form of the climate action. Your WhatsApp group can be a platform, your Instagram can be a platform, any medium that helps you spread the word, do it out loud.
I would say telling 5 friends because striking that conversation does more.
That's the shift which happened on one day.
After getting down from the bus, the last stretch I had to walk 700 meters and it was like on a service road. Societies or the residential areas around them don't have door to door collection regularly. I was walking on trash every day. I started thinking that why do we as consumers need to produce so much trash?
So, what were the first things that you actually changed that pushed you to that, hey, this is the first step where I must start off from?
Just have a pause and just think like, do you really need it?
Thrift stores, finds, or borrowing from a friend. We are Avneet and Archana, and this is the shift on Swachh Living.
Okay, real question. Have you had a Monday that just hits differently? Like you're walking on the road, coffee in hand, playlist on, and you feel like the main character. And you suddenly step into a mountain of garbage on the pavement, like, oh,
Hola, my gorgeous green flank. I'm Archana, and she is Avneet. Welcome to the shift by Swachh Living, podcast about people who are actually walking the talk on sustainability. No lectures, no guilt, just real stories.
welcome to the shift. Today we have Arpana with us, a Bangalore-based working professional who's been living a low-waste, eco-conscious life since 2019. She runs Conscious Living Valley on Instagram, where she keeps it very real about what conscious living actually looks like. Arpana, hi.
I'm so glad to be here and I'm really excited to share how I started this and how I'm doing this conscious living lifestyle and how I'm trying to be sustainable. So, yeah, really glad. Thank you for having me here. And today I'm audio only, no camera, but I promise that'll not hamper this podcast today.
Definitely, your voice is enough for us. Let's
And
get
her efforts too. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Before we get into the big stuff, paint us a picture. Who is Arpana before 2019 and what did a regular Tuesday look like?
Okay. So yeah, it used to be like very usual. I had a corporate job. I have a corporate job. So you can say I started 2018, 2019, and I would live in a PG. Food would not be great. I would keep ordering food online, and we would shop clothes during sales. But and yeah, and I would wish to take cabs, but since I was early in my career, that was not an option financially. So I would have to take bus every day and then walk the last stretch to the office, which was around 700 meters. So yeah, not very glamorous Tuesday.
Oh, great. So actually, it is very difficult for me to digest that public transport was actually not your default and not even a choice you made consciously. So when did it actually start?
Yes, exactly. So it was basically out of a necessity because I would not be able to afford taking cabs every day to and fro to work. And so, yeah, you can say that I was not making those choices out of concern for climate or sustainability. It was just the need of the hour. Yeah. And I think the sustainability part came later.
You've already all done that.
So, Arpana, what made you pay attention during your commute?
Yeah, so basically I would be going to office 9 a.m. I want to go tip top, but it used to be a hassle. Like first take the bus, then walk 700 meters. There would not be much trees, and then even more things which were not pleasant, which I'll talk about coming up. Yeah.
Wow. I think we've been teasing this for a while now, so let's just take a walk. So yeah, I think we would love to know more about, how it was for you, Arpana. So over to you.
Yeah, so basically, after getting down from the bus, the last stretch I had to walk 700 meters, and it was like on the service road. And I think the societies or the residential areas around them don't have door to door collection regularly. So people by default would drop their trash. So, all along the road, there would be trash. So basically, I was walking on trash every day.
Wow, like every day you're walking on that every single day.
Yes. And, then after walking every day, you're like thinking, I'm just looking at it and thinking, okay, what all is there? Like, okay, there are wrappers, this, that. There is, a wrapper of gems, there is a wrapper of Maggie, even Tide, Ariel, whatever. So, everyday commercial packaging, everyday commercial goods packaging, and even sometimes food and all mixed in that. So, yeah, so that's what I saw every day.
That's the shift which happened on one day when you keep seeing this trash every day, and then one day that shift started.
Yeah, so like I started thinking that, okay, why do we as consumers need to produce so much trash? So if you see the things that we use regularly, we don't get them package free. This is the default, like this is how the system exists. And there is no system to take back or process the trash in a proper manner, even though we say there is recycling, but we don't know how much of it actually gets recycled. So I actually started thinking, okay, in my daily life, how much trash am I producing?
That's what I love, that when you saw this trash on the road, you decided to look into your own bin, right? So you're looking inward first.
So yeah, as consumers, we don't have any other choice. Our daily groceries, we get it mostly packaged. So it's the systemic problem. The system is broken. Don't get me wrong, we'll get to that. But starting with yourself is honest. I mean, that's where you have the most immediate control, and that's humbling.
Well, I surely see humbling is the right word. But so, what were the first things that you actually changed that pushed you to that? Hey, this is the first step where I must start off from. Because I'm sure all of us have the same mentality wherein we're still figuring out, we're still understanding that what's the right step for us. How do we start? So, maybe you're the right person and we could take some great takeaways from you and get started.
Yeah, so we can start small. Like I started, like the first thing in groceries which we can actually get package free in India especially is our fresh produce. We have our local markets, we have sellers on our carts, we can carry our own bags. So that's one thing, saying no to the single use plastic and paper bags, I would say. So carry your own bags. Then even having your own bottle wherever it's possible. We know if we are going to be out in the day, during the day, we can always carry our own bottle. And something I have been really happy to switch to is a menstrual cup. So I think I have switched it around 2020, and it took me also a while, but I think that was the best switch because I was then thinking, why did I not get this before?
Yeah, that's
Right.
that's
Yeah.
that's so important. I personally have a very bad experience with sanitary pads because they are synthetic, and I developed an infection for which I took medicine for around 2 years every month, and it is the antibiotics were like 800 mg. So yeah, I suffered from using those sanitary pads which are synthetic. So it's not that it is harming the environment, polluting the environment, it is also harming our own body. It's bad for us as well.
Right, right. See, that's you mentioned a personal anecdote which shows that this is not just for the environment, but it even improves our well-being.
Yes.
So yes, so these are some impactful swaps you can make, and once you start, it's like you cannot go back. So yeah.
Okay, so coming from a person who has just sustained on pads, because that was something which was passed from my mother to me, and now that I see the environmental impacts on health, I do not want to be the person to pass this on to my daughter or to my niece or anybody that I know. So, Arpana, the whole transition from using a pad to a menstrual cup, right? For me, that's very daunting. I'm very overwhelmed, and I'm sure मेरे साथ मेरी बाकी भी महिला मित्र हैं जो अभी नहीं कर पा रही हैं ये. So उनके लिए आपके पास क्या एडवाइस है? Like we're just overwhelmed to use, just take this change.
Yeah. So yeah, even I was a bit scared because even I had not tried even tampons before. So I bought it because I found a stall in a flea market of Boond cups, which is what I use. So I was like, okay, let me switch to it. Let me buy it. So I bought it. but I was not able to put it in for, you can say, 3 months. So for 3 months, I was trying every time my period would start, and but I was not able to put it in. Then the final third month, I was out of my pads, and I was like, now I will not buy it anymore, and let me try real hard. So then I watched some YouTube videos, and I understood, okay, this is the fold. This is how we need to try it. And I gave myself time. I relaxed myself, and I tried, and I was able to do it. So yes, it might take time, but try honestly. Be relaxed. Uh, and yeah, if you're able to use it comfortably, then you can go for it. And also, it is so comfortable. Like before, if you're using pads and if you're outside, if you're at someone else's house, it's such a hassle to think about how you're going to dispose it. So using a menstrual cup completely eliminates any disposal. You can very well clean it in any clean washroom, so that way it's great.
Right. So you talk a lot about conscious consumption, not just reducing waste, right? So it is actually questioning whether you need to buy these things in the first place, and this is the difference.
Yes. So, yeah, people might think I'm a bit radical, because everything around us is asking us to buy more. Okay.
Right.
There's always a sale. Like right now, you see every next festival, there is a sale on every platform. And there's a trend also, like this is how we need to accessorize now. This is how, these are the cool shoes, new cool shoes. So, what I'm saying is like, just have a pause and just think like, do you really need it?
Yeah. Now, like, there is a sale every month, you know?
Yeah. Coming from a maximalist, I think it's a very difficult task for me to let go of any sales. Oh my god. But then, Arpana, I just wonder that all of this advice coming from an Instagram account, like people would just find that annoying. So, how was your experience dealing with such people?
Yeah, it might be ironic, because these days everyone on Instagram are selling something or the other. But I'm saying be mindful. Ask yourself the question: is this really a need for you? This one thing has, changed my life more than any eco product swap ever did.
Yeah, that's what is interesting, that this is also about your well-being, just not a environmental thing.
Yes, that's the thing people don't expect. When I started buying less, I had more money, more space, and less anxiety. Clutter is actually stressful. Like if you see our parents' generation houses, it used to be so full of clutter.
I know.
So, that way also it's beneficial, and even for the planet, it is beneficial.
So I guess that's absolutely bang on, Arpana. So from this, I think we can completely conclude that less stuff, less mental load, and that is actually quotable.
So Arpana, for someone who is starting, they feel usually overwhelmed. What do you suggest? Or where do they start?
Hmm. So you can start with like one thing, one category. Like you can look into your trash bin and you can see like, is there something that I can easily avoid? So you can start with that. Don't try to like change your whole life in a week. So yeah, pick one thing which you think is doable and try to do more of that. So you will progress on something. So don't aim for perfection, because perfection is actually the enemy of starting. So just start.
Okay, so Arpana, you mentioned that earlier you used to take bus every day out of necessity, and now you still take it. But the reason has changed. So ideally, it's the same actions, it is the same way, but the better thing is that the intent has changed of how you approach things. And that's where I want to talk about. Like, tell us about that shift that happened with that intent that you had for public transports.
Yes. So yes, it started like I have to go to work and I can't afford cabs every day. So this is, I have bus only in my route, no metro here, so I have to take it. And it was something I could afford. And then slowly, when you're stuck in traffic, you know, peak office hours में सब फंसे हुए हैं, then you're thinking, this bus is having 50, 60 people, and each of these car, one person is sitting in them. So, this is not a solution. You know, uh, cars is not a solution. Making more flyovers, more roads is not a solution. But yeah, I'll also be honest that the public transport currently in our country and specifically in Bangalore has its issues. The frequency is not great, reliability is a problem, and people who are office goers, they want to go on time. So of course it's not a perfect system, but if you can, and if it suits your route, choose public transport. Or even if you have a car, try to carpool. So
Right.
yes.
So it's like ये chicken or egg वाला problem है.
Yeah, because the alternative, if you think, is car, that is not going to solve the traffic problem.
Right.
It's just mathematically impossible because we are so densely populated. Our cities are too dense for that logic to even work.
Yes. So the ridership is low, so investment is low, quality is low, and ridership stays low.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All directly proportional, and here we are stuck calculating math behind all of it. But yes,
exactly. So it is the chicken egg problem. So, what people can do is that those who can afford to take a cab, they also try to choose the bus whenever it's possible for them. I understand it may not be possible, work is important, but I see on weekends the buses are empty and still there is traffic jam in like prime areas like Indranagar and Kormangla. Okay, so I'm like, why are those people not choosing the bus? It's there are AC buses also, and otherwise also it's good. So those people, if they start choosing the bus, they are the ones who will break that cycle. So we need to vote with our choice of commute.
and also, hasn't taking the bus become something you actually enjoy now?
Yeah, actually, it's actually quite fun also. So you actually can people watch, and you get to know about the important signals and turns. If you need to go from point A to point B and you take a rickshaw or a car, it will go the shortest path possible, but the bus has routes, so you can actually get to know more and meet different people. I would like to share one anecdote. On my way to work, there used to be these two girls who were specially able, so they would talk by sign language, and that was so cool. Like every morning they are having this conversation in sign language, and I would meet them in the bus, and I'm like, wow, this is so nice. So
Nice.
you get to meet different people, see the different sides of your city. So I
And
think
I'm sure that you get a lot of alone time as well, and quality alone time that you can actually make use, maybe which is better than, doing things at home. So, yeah.
and also when I compare, when I'm taking a metro or a bus, say, to my work, and those who are driving and coming, they are coming stressed because they have faced the road rage. I'm coming all chill. So I think that way taking public transport is way better.
Yeah.
So here's what I want to talk a little bit about, that there is a version of sustainability content that just say that, swap your plastic bag, you know. So you're saying that is not enough?
Yeah. So you might feel that individual choices are enough, but that may not be the truth. Yes, they do matter, but if we only talk about our personal responsibility, we let those systems, those big corps who are the big polluters, we are letting them off the hook actually. So corporations, governments, systems, these are the things that are causing huge volume of trash or huge volume of pollution. So that's where the biggest chunk of the problem is.
So, to understand better, Arpana, according to your point of view, what does a system change look like if it does not come from a policymaker?
See, it can look as simple as writing to your local corporator about whatever your issue is, like, say, garbage collection in your area, or asking your resident welfare association to set up composting for your society. So, you need to normalize the conversation because that is its own form of advocacy. When your friend sees that you are carrying a bag and you are skipping that single use straw, and they ask why you're doing that is the moment, that is a moment that is bringing the conversation, and that is bringing a change. So you don't need a million followers for that.
Correct. And with that said, we can say that micro sustainability advocacy. That's one of the most underrated form of the climate action. Your WhatsApp group can be a platform, your Instagram can be a platform, any medium that helps you spread the word, do it out loud.
Okay, so now we have a segment called What is Your Shift?
Yeah.
Where you can talk about, things get little personal. So, are you ready, Arpna?
Yeah, a bit nervous, but okay.
Okay, I have a big banger question for you to get started, so hold on to that. So, Alpina, what is that one habit you've completely given up? Like, for you, that would have been a no go, and now you're just like, all right, brushed off.
I think I would say menstrual cup because previously I didn't know about this option, so sanitary pads were my go to. But
Yeah.
since I started using menstrual cup, there is no going back.
And one thing which you gave up that was actually hard.
I must admit. So yeah, I mean these days, fast fashion creates cute outfits, and it is also popularized by Instagram, Pinterest, inspirations. So those sales actually push those seasonal fashion, and it is hard to keep your hands off it. But then, yeah, I sometimes still feel the pull, but I think my thrifting game is going strong.
So, Alpina, what's that one habit you haven't yet managed to give up? So, we'll keep that honest.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, food delivery packaging because sometimes you are chasing a work deadline and then you missed your meal and you need to order from outside. So I do get it in disposable packaging. Yeah.
And one shift that gave you something unexpected.
Hmm. So yeah, if you are taking public transport, you need to go to the stop, go to the metro station. So that introduced walking. So I'm walking way more after moving to a city like Bangalore than I used to before, and actually it helps me. Like I'm able to easily complete my 6-7 thousand of steps. So it's actually cool.
Wow.
So yeah, I would say walking more.
Good for your health app. And here we struggle with just closing 5,000 steps a day. That's interesting. I think walking is kind of meditative, as far as I have, experienced that. But yes, now those were all about the things that you've already done, right? If we talk about something, what's next? I want to understand what's a habit that you want to build that's currently on your platter to be like, kind of accommodated in your whole schedule.
Hmm. So yeah, I would, as I mentioned on the system change side, that you can write to your local representatives. So that is something I want to do more because I do see a lot of problems around me, but maybe I'm not uh, making noise or complaining about it enough as a citizen. So that is something I want to do more regularly. So yes, that's a new habit I want to build.
And I think that's a takeaway not for you, but for everybody else. Like each individual voice counts, and that's what even we can take as a next habit to build. So, yeah. All right, then. So, before we wrap up, we're doing this or that. So, two options, Arpana. No explanation, just go fast, pick an option, and bang, we're settled. So, yeah.
Okay, already.
Okay. Thrift stores finds or borrowing from a friend.
I would say thrift store because I get a lot of choice there.
Bus window seat or a metro corner seat?
Okay, I would say bus window seat because the city is entertaining.
Bulk buying to reduce packaging or buying small and buying local.
hmm. I would say buying local. I think bulk buying might be suitable for those with a bigger family. So yeah, I would say buying local.
Okay. Lovely. Um, Bamboo toothbrush or telling your five friends about sustainability?
I would say telling 5 friends because striking that conversation does more. I
Correct.
think
Composting at home or demanding better garbage collection from your RWA.
definitely demanding better collection from your residents welfare association because everybody may not have the means to do composting, so this is way better.
Lovely. Arpana, you've passed the sustainability vibe check completely. You've answered all of the questions without hesitation. And I think that you would be one of the clearest thinkers in Bangalore. Clap, 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 clap.
Or we let you go. What's the one thing you want someone listening to actually do after this episode?
Hmm. Yeah, I would say, just notice your surroundings. Take a walk. Do you think our surroundings are ideal? If not, if there's something you can change, you can start from there. So, that awareness is the whole beginning.
Well, that's that. It's the whole episode in one sentence. The way awareness is actually a whole beginning, and that's why we as Swatch Living, start off from, and that's where even you as Conscious Living start off from, and that's what we're trying to build. So yeah, it seems
Yeah,
like the shift does not start with a perfect low waste lifestyle.
it starts with a walk, a pause, and one honest question. And
Mhm.
that's what Arpana did in 2019. Find her on Instagram at Conscious Living Valley, and we are Avneet and Archana. And this is the shift on Swatch Living. See you next episode.
Bye bye, guys. Thank you so much for your time.
And keep making the shift.
Keep making the shift.